Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Black Logic. So this evening for your news updates, I do have, what I'm going to cover is a video that I saw on TYT. And I don't know how long that's going to take me to comb through, but I think you should stay for its entirety, because at the end, I'm going to give any service member who's struggling with razor bumps I forgot the professional name, but we call them razor bumps, where we cut ourselves with razors. Now, this mostly to black men, majority of black men. But in my career, I have seen at least 2 white guys with razor bumps. It was very different to see a white male with razor bumps, but it does happen. But majority of the times, it's usually occurring in black men. So you be in the Marines, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, there's a lot of black servicemen and women who suffer from razor bumps. And I know a lot of people know the professional name. So I'm going to cover that at the end of the broadcast. And I'm going to give those guys techniques on how not to get razor bumps. Like, I don't really have bumps. It's just kind of, the hair is kind of growing back under there. But I'm going to give you guys some techniques because, again, I spent over 20 years in the military. And I didn't get put out because I didn't continually get what they call a shaving chit or a shaving profile to be exempted. But stay to the end. I'm going to cover that. I think that's going to be very, very important. It's not going to only help service members, but people from any race, really, right? But again, this happens mostly in black men that have razor bumps. As I stated before, I've seen at least 2 white guys in my career with razor bumps. But people who want to be in corporate America, because we understand that some corporate America, they necessarily don't, some organizations frown upon facial hair, okay? So again, we're going to cover that as well, but I think I'm going to help out a lot of people this evening. But I'm not going to stay long between a lot of the news stories we have, but I do want to go over these things because here in a very surprising turn of events, President Trump has withdrawn the nomination of Representative Elsa Stefanik for the position of U.S. Ambassador to the United States. Now, this decision underscores the administration's concern over the Republican Party's razor-thin majority in the House of Representatives, because with the GOP holding a very narrow 218 to 213 majority, Stefanik's departure could jeopardize key legislative initiative and other Republicans who were aligned with her. But Trump emphasized that the necessity of maintaining every Republican seat in Congress to advance his agenda, stating we must be unified to accomplish our mission. And Stefanik, a staunch ally of the president, has agreed to remain in Congress to support these efforts. So again, there's a lot of things happening in our politics, never like before, and I'm here for it. And I'm gonna keep you guys updated. If any of you guys are new to Black Logic, please hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell, so you are notified every time I go live or release a video. But nonetheless, I do thank you for being with me this evening. Now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced that the U.S. has revoked more than 300 student visas as part of the Trump administration's very extensive immigration crackdown. And the initiative targets individuals, especially on college campuses, people behind a lot of these protests that spew from college campuses. And of course, a lot of these people, a lot of these college students are those who have pro-Palestinian views. And a move that First Amendment and the immigration advocates claim that it suppressed free speech, because again, a lot of this talk, a lot of this rhetoric during a press conference, Marco Rubio stated, "We do it every day. Every time I find one of these lunatics, I'll take away their visa." This action has raised very, very significant concerns about the balance between national security and the protections of a lot of American civil liberties.
Maybe more. It might be more than 300 at this point. We do it every day. Every time I find one of these lunatics, I take away their visa.
You're saying it could be more than 300
Sure,
visas?
I hope. At some point, I hope we run out because we've gotten rid of all.
Now, how do you guys feel about that? That's very intriguing. Every time I find one of these lunatics, I take away their visa. Now, again, this is about students mostly on college campuses who are protesting with pro-Palestinian views. And you take their visa for that. Again, it puts me in a very safe position to say so because guess what? I don't trust the Democrats, I don't trust the Republicans, and I don't trust the independents. I just trust the truth. And if they're here on the visa, are they afforded constitutional rights? Just asking the question. Or because they're on a visa, because they're on a residence card, do they fall under dictatorship? And if you speak out, if you say anything, you don't get to enjoy the constitutional rights of American citizens. I wonder, I'm asking questions. Okay, I'm no constitutional lawyer. I'm just a guy that reads and comprehends. But that's what I'm getting from it. Now, they're not speaking pro-Hamas rhetoric. They're saying pro-Palestinian. That these Palestinians who religion happens to be Muslim and they study and pray through the Islamic faith. We're speaking about the 30 to 40,000 people because of the war between Israel and Hamas has affected Palestinians. Is that what they're stating? See, here's the thing. You can tell a story and only ask questions. You can tell a story, but you only ask questions. And that is what I'm doing for Hear You today. Because these are the questions that I have. Those are the questions that I have because the academic community is in an uproar. Because following the detention of this young lady here, following the detention of this young lady, who is a Turkish doctoral student at Tufts University. Her name is Ozturk. I'm going to abbreviate it and call her Oz. Oz was apprehended near her residence in Somerville, Massachusetts by plainclothes immigration and custom enforcement agencies. Wow. You know, I noticed that we have this amendment called Freedom of the Press. We have within the amendments, in our constitutional amendments, we have freedom of the press. Should the press report on everything? I didn't know, I thought about it, but I didn't know we had undercover and plainclothes ICE agents. Now I know a lot of people, we knew that. We knew about that for a long time, but should the American media, another what sides, CNN, Fox, it doesn't matter what network, should they report certain details about ongoing criminal cases? Again, can you wrap your mind behind that? Because if we're doing the war on illegal immigration and the Trump administration has deputized, ICE has already been in place, Homeland Security already been in place, but they have deputized DEA agents, ATF agents. So Drug Enforcement Agency, and the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm Agency. And they're becoming ICE agents. Everybody's becoming an ICE agent. I tell people there's jobs out there. You might just have to learn Spanish, French, and maybe some Russian. Because you don't need to learn Canadian. They just speak English with the A. Good day, A. No, shout out to my Canadians. I'm just kidding. That's just an A joke. You get it? A joke. I know I'm not good at this. I'm not good at telling jokes. So with that, I'll move on. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has unveiled plans for a significant restructuring of the health department, which includes the elimination of 10,000 jobs. With the elimination of 10,000 jobs, and this decision is part of a broader effort to streamline operations and reduce government spending. Of course, the liberals argue that such drastic cuts could undermine public health initiatives and services, while supporters believe it will lead to increased efficiency and accountability within the department. And believe me, the specifics of this restructuring plan and the areas most affected by the job cuts, it has yet to be detailed. So again, this is why I tell a lot of people, you'll be caught in a crossfire when it comes to politics if you say, well, I agree with these people more and I agree with these people. I'm pretty sure most Americans, some of your ideology aligns with the left, some, maybe not much, and probably majority with the right and some things in between. I don't think no one is just black and white. Human beings, Homo sapiens, are more intelligent than just being one-sided, are we not? Most of the things on I want you guys to think about this, and I won't go on a rant. Most of the things that we have is two, right? Some people will say one nose, I'll say two nostrils. You say one mouth, I say two lips. You say one brain, I say different hemispheres. You get what I'm saying? So we're not just one. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people who lean strongly right may fall a little to the middle and to the right on maybe one or two things. And people who fall strongly to the left would definitely, in my opinion, definitely will fall to the middle or to the right of things. Are we looking at that from that department? Why am I stating that? Because Robert F. Kennedy is an independent. Was he ever a Democrat? I think he was. And now he's an independent and he's working for a majority of the Republican Party. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just giving you the information because I am actually glad that RFK is in that position. I am tired of our own country killing its citizens. And it was only killing its citizens to make other people filthy rich. Let's just be real about it. Can we be very transparent? Can we be very transparent? Let's take some time here to know that the stuff that's in our food, the vaccines, the prescriptions, they knew that these prescriptions and opioids were very addictive, and the American government allowed the pharmaceutical companies to start an epidemic medically. Then they put some of these same chemicals that when you go to other countries, because when I go to other countries, I don't see all this fructose corn syrup and all these other 13-letter Latin words or chemical words that most Americans don't know. I don't see that overseas. They're like orange juice. Orange juice. You like orange juice and like, look at Sunny D. And we all know that Sunny D is not orange juice, but they label it and they market it as what? Orange juice. And then once they fatten you up and you get sick and you got high blood pressure, you have high cholesterol. We're talking, and I'm not talking about older people. There's young people with diabetes. And some people say, well, it's a matter of discipline, not eating this much, being proportionate. But when they make your food poison and addictive, discipline becomes a lot harder. So I'm glad RFK is in place. But at the same time, he's cutting 10,000 jobs. That's how you work that around. Now, a tourist submarine operating in the Red Sea has tragically sunk, resulting in the deaths of 6 individuals. The cause of the accident is currently under investigation, with death of 6 individuals. This is what the preliminary reports are stating. Rescue operations were initiated immediately, but unfortunately, all 6 passengers were confirmed deceased. And this is the second time that this has happened, I think within a year, over there in the Black Sea. And when I thought about the Black Sea and a lot of these people taking these underwater submarine sort of dives, which I'm not going to lie, I probably would have been one of the ones that wanted to do it. Okay, I love to see stuff like that. But this is the second accident in the Black Sea, I believe, within a year of people perishing, people losing their lives. So I would definitely advise going to Egypt, okay, and taking one of these submersive machines that are not properly vetted. And that reminds me of President Zelensky of Ukraine. As we see, Black Sea is up here again. Because President Zelensky has dismissed the conditions set forth by the Russians for a ceasefire in the Black Sea. He stated that these conditions of the ceasefire are unrealistic. This kind of really wanted me to break down a couple of things to you guys. Because I made a comment not too long ago about the Ukrainians are the ones who created the Soviet Union. Now, it wasn't just the Ukrainians, it was the Russians as well as another group, the Belarusians. It was three countries who were really spearheading the form of the Soviet Union. And they were very, very powerful at the time. They was the second powerful country in the world next to America. China has yet to be at the economic and military prowess that they are today. But now Russian officials are stating that they want Ukraine to officially recognize Crimea as part of the Russian Federation. Why is this important to Americans? Because this ceasefire is still not done. I wonder if the Americans back out. Now, I know a lot of humanitarians are going to come out and state, well, we have an ethical obligation to help the Ukrainians. Okay, well, the Ukrainians are not part of NATO. I guess as of current events here in the past 2 or 3 years, we have been allies in some form or fashion, but at one point in time, and they've been trying to get into NATO, but President Putin won't allow them. Here's the thing. Why do you think America has so much tolerance for President Putin? We don't want to go to war with the Russians. We don't want to go to war with China. We don't want to go to war with North Korea because, again, those 4 countries are allies. And the fourth one, my apologies, is India. India is allies with China. They're allies with Russia. Now, I can't speak to North Korea, but friends of a feather flock together. I believe that is important. But I guess no one's talking about it. Well, let me read some of your comments here. I see Jermaine Anderson. B1 to you, fam. I'm going to go back here. We're going to backtrack just a little. No American should have to speak a different language to get a job in their own country, in my opinion. I absolutely 1000% agree with you. Now, if you see me looking the wrong way instead of at the camera, because I just changed cameras, I know there's a different look there. So if I'm looking this way, I'm looking at the wrong camera, but I'll get it right. I'm upgrading. I'm upgrading. I'm trying to get a different feel here. But I agree with you, Church of Black Power. I agree with you. I agree with you. He also states, I spoke about 70% of all studies favor the people who fund them. Good evening, Volvo. So let me continue. And please stay to the end because I do have techniques and recommendations of how not only service members, as well as people who are in corporate America, when you want to be clean shaven as any guy, but we know this is majority for black guys, but I've seen white guys with razor bumps and other groups of people, but it's rare. Okay, it's rare. You know, over 60% of any population of black men and some black women get razor bumps wherever we are. I was one of those guys who got razor bumps, but I'll cover that here shortly. because a recent leak of Signal app communications among the top U.S. officials has ignited controversy within the military community. The leaked messages revealed discussions about potential airstrikes and military operations, raising concerns about operational security and the use of unsecured communication platforms for sensitive information. Now, military pilots and personnel have expressed frustration over the breach, emphasizing the need for stringent communication protocols to safeguard national security interests. This is all behind Pete Hegseth not taking responsibility of a mistake, of a mishap, of a national security threat. And when we just speak truth, I don't want anyone, whether you lean right or left or in the middle, to be upset with me. Because again, the reporter stated that they mistext him with national security or, sensitive information that was dealing with the bombing of Yemen. And they say that, oh no, he really didn't get that much. He didn't really get any information. Okay, well, he got information. They backtracked. He got information, but it wasn't as strategic as it was. Like, yeah, he got flight plans. He got location drops. That's very strategic, because if that would have got to any Yemen officials, they would have eradicated, moved equipment, moved people, etc. What are they talking about? Just say you made a mistake. Either you're going to get fired or you're not. But of course, throw the rock, hide your hand. Doo-doo. Hey man, they saw you throw the rock. I ain't throwing no rock. I don't even got a hand. Lord. Last but not least, let's cover this. Now, this particular story, guys, is very, very important. Very, very important. Because it may not directly affect you, but this information for people that may be in your lives who are thinking about, joining the service, and this is not just as Marines, it's in the Army as well, but not as strict as the Marines. Okay, I'm a proud Marine, believe me. I had a shaving profile. After my second one, and this is wow, this is over 20 years ago. I'm showing my age, but this is over 20 years ago. When you first come in, as we would say, they turn you around in a barber's chair, turn me around. I had no hair. This is where I want to be. U.S. Marines. We had all these different chants, We used to say a lot of things, but the one thing, they would shave your head with, these clippers, but it'd be pretty rough. And then most people shave, their face with razors. And so most of us coming into the service, we never really shaved, so we just using razors. And then when the hair starts to grow back, everywhere that razor touch your face, there's a bump. There's a bump. Then they have the professional name, but I'm going to let some of this play. Fair use, analytical commentary. But I want you guys just to listen to this story just a little bit, and we're going to come back with some strategies and methods to go about this.
Shaving policy could result in Black Marines losing their jobs. Here's an overview of the effect.
So why aren't you clean shaven? I'm not clean shaven because I do have a condition called pseudometiculitis. It's when your hair grows out and back into your skin, which causes your hair follicles to be more into your skin, causing your face to turn red and causing there to be bumps.
For years, I've heard anecdotally about, the struggles of some Black male sailors who have been diagnosed with something called pseudofolliculitis barbae, or razor bumps. To varying degrees, sailors will get really bad, just like fields of razor bumps on their neck. They then try to shave through them. That causes a lot of bleeding and sometimes scarring for some of these men. But in the Navy, Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Mike Gilday banned permanent no-shave waivers in 2019. Banning the permanent shaving waiver basically just means that instead of getting one piece of paper that says, hey, I have this condition, I'm allowed to grow a beard, now sailors have to shave, get the razor bumps, go to medical, show the razor bumps to medical, and get a 90-day shaving waiver. So
you literally have to injure yourself.
Everything he stated is absolutely 100% true. And what they're breaking down here is because they banned a lot of these shaving profiles. Pete Hegseth has done some regulatory policies that is limiting, male Marines. And I don't know if it falls to any other service. After so many shaving profiles, they will administratively discharge you. Now, I don't know why this is a big story now. It was already a big story. Now, this guy that you see on your screen, Dr. Ritchie, very, very intelligent guy, very intelligent, but he's also a Democrat. So with his intelligence, and this is not me attacking the brother, this is not me attacking him, but with his intelligence, he used his intelligence to always sway to the left and always state race. Now, again, I probably agree with him majority of the time around 92%. That's high. Even with this particular story about how when you change policies and regulation and you know there's going to affect majority of black men, how is that not discriminatory? Then on the other hand, people are like, well, Marines, people in the military are clean shaven unless they're on a special mission, unless they're special forces, Marine Con. You have all these special groups that can grow facial hair so they don't look like a military, so they can do special operations around the world. Because some cultures don't like, especially in the Muslim cultures, they don't like speaking to men with no facial hair. They think it's unmanly. They think it's femaleish. So again, you have to grow facial hair just to go talk to some of these tribesmen. So that's one thing. But I'm going to let this play a couple of more minutes. I want you guys to hear this out.
In order to receive a 90-day waiver for a condition that does not automatically go away. And remember, the condition is brought on by the razor, the unnatural cutting of the hair. Put up the picture full mass. I'm going to explain this because as a black male, this is one of those things we are intimately knowledgeable of, every single one of us. And I've experienced this myself. Fortunately, mine is underneath my chin and it's difficult for other people to see it. But if you're close enough to me, you'll see it as well because the condition doesn't go away, okay? It's very simple. Because of the razor, I'm going to explain how it happens, okay? Because of the razor and scarring on their face. These are razor bumps, but it is a skin condition. It's an epidermal condition. They can now be kicked out of the military, out of the Marines, if it does not clear up within a certain amount of time. So this may greatly affect black men, according to the Marine Corps Times. The U.S. Marine Corps has stated that any Marine who has been diagnosed with this skin condition has to undergo medical re-evaluation within 90 days to see if they still will require a shaving waiver due to the condition. The message.
All right. So for the most part, I think that we all got it. I'm not trying to beat your head. So without further ado, this is for any person who may be in the armed forces and you are dealing with razor bumps. I'm just going to get right here on the news channel. I'm just going to give you the information that a lot of people won't give you. I wish I knew after 4 or 5 years of cutting myself with a razor, getting bumps, then pulling out the bumps with tweezers, that I wish that somebody would have shown me earlier of what I should do. Now, first and foremost, do not shave your face. Do not shave your head. You see those guys with those bumps? I don't have those bumps. Don't shave your face and don't shave your head with a razor. Now, some black people can shave with razors. Don't get me wrong. So if you're shaving with a razor and you're not bumping up, I'm not talking to you. Now, the first clippers, this is all you need. That's right. Let me put this on the screen. This is all you need is a pair of T outliners from Andes. They're about $60. Let me pop them up here. $60 on Amazon. Okay. They're $60 on Amazon. And I'm not trying to have you to buy nothing you don't need, but this is for the men and women who have shaving bumps and are using razors. These cut my face. This shaves my face and my head. And I haven't cut my hair for 2 days. But this is what I shave my head with. I don't touch a razor. Okay, there's one spot on my body that a razor touches. Okay, and it's not my legs. I'll just say that. Okay, so that's one. T outliners. Now, for a lot of people in armed forces, we do field exercises, we get deployed. So when you're in these other countries, you know, this is 110, 120. They don't make these, as far as I know, 220, 240. So with that being said, depending on how long you're going to be away, you might need to upgrade. Okay. Now, and I have these. These are these are Andes as well. But these are what? These are cordless. Okay. I believe that the vaults are the same on this one, but it may be, okay, it may be, and these are unfortunately $170. Yeah, these are somewhat expensive. Okay. Like I said, but if you only have to pay for this one time and you're just going to change the blade of these clippers, okay, I showed you these first, okay, and I'm showing you these seconds because this is how I travel and this is how I essentially get around, okay? So now these are 170 and you can shave your head with this as well and you won't get any bumps and you'll look clean shaven. Now, granted, the darker you are, you're going to look really clean shaven. If you're a light-skinned brother, light-skinned sister, it's going to show very, very lightly, but you're going to look shaved, okay? Again, this is for people who want to shave, whether in the military, corporate America, everyday life, whatever. I have one more pair for you. Yeah, because when you cut your own hair and you're not going to a barber and they're not shaping you up every day, this is going to help you out. Now, these are my last pair right here. These are called the Babyless Pro, and they can do roughly the same thing. You probably seen this all over the internet, okay? You probably seen this all over the internet. And, you know, they're roughly about $140. They're a little bit cheaper than the Andes. And I'll show you right here. I'm trying to pop it up for you guys. Let's see here. Here they go. Yeah, there's a lot of knockoffs out there. There's a lot of knockoffs, like from Chinese knockoff, but these are the Babyless Pro, okay? And these will cut you real close as well. And with these, you can change out the blade. So again, oh, by the way, one more thing. I almost forgot. Now, I used to take Bump Fighter. I would shave and use Bump Fighter, and Bump Fighter has whatever chemicals in it. And I'm not going to lie, I have become more natural when it comes to medicines and certain products. Not soap. I still use soap. I'm not just washing with baking soda. But I stopped using Bump Fighter, and I still have it here, but I stopped using it. It's probably old as heck. Every time after I shave, you know, you wash your face, you wash your head. After that, you rinse off, and then I let my face dry, and I just spray aloe vera skin and body. And this is what, 99.99% aloe vera. And if anybody knows anything about aloe vera, it repairs your skin. Let's see here. Just going to read it very quickly. It states, it's an excellent daily moisturizer for entire body. It softens and revitalizes chapped, sun-exposed, moisture-deprived skin while helping normal skin retain moisture. But I always tell the story about my grandmother. I had all these bumps on my face, and I was fairly young. I don't know if I was going through puberty or not. But she had this aloe vera plant, and she cut it, split it open, rubbed it on my face. When I woke up the next morning, no bumps. And I've been using this. Oh, there it is. This is 99.4% organic ingredients. Okay. So again, these are some of the things that I do to keep my face. You know, hopefully it looks good to you guys. But nonetheless, it helps repair your skin and all these other things. So that's pretty much it. But as you see, I have 3 pairs of clippers because the ones with the cord I mostly use at home, and then the cordless ones I take when I travel. But thank you. But thank you for joining me here this evening. Jermaine Anderson, I use the aluminum block and tea tree oil. Okay. But thank you for joining me. Hopefully you can get this information out. Please share the video. A lot of the news story, I'm going to keep you guys updated. But again, I do thank you for joining me here this evening. This is Black Logic.